What's going on, guys? This is the Club with the Man 1993, and I'm coming at you live for my live review of Monday Night Raw from the April 22nd, 2019 edition of Raw that took place in Des Moines, Iowa. This is, of course, the first episode post the 2019 Superstar Shakeup. Of course, we're supposed to be a new era and whatnot, and of course, we're supposed to be done with the new names coming to different rosters. Of course, that is not the case, so we're actually going to start off this review with a little bit of a rant. It was announced earlier today that Andrade Cien Almas, Zelina Vega, and Aleister Black are going back to SmackDown Live. Well, Almas and Vega are returning. Black is just being moved to SmackDown. And the reason why, which Aleister going back, I was, going to SmackDown, like, I think is good for him. If he would have stayed on Raw, he would have, stayed. I feel like he would have just been stuck with just that tag team with him and Ricochet. Which again, as a team, they're fun, but they're a lot more than just a freaking tag team. So I'm kind of glad, they got that distance from them. Almas and Vega going back to SmackDown, I guess I'm okay with. But same time, I really felt last week he started up something pretty good with Raw. And I was kind of looking forward to see where he would go with Raw. Now he's going back to SmackDown. I don't know what's up with that. I'm not sure where they're going to go with them. However, though, there's one factor into why this happened, though. And also, tonight, we saw that Samoa Joe is moved over to Raw, which was kind of obvious that he was once Finn Balor came over. And, they kind of teased a feud with Strowman and Joe, the SmackDown after Mania, even though, once again, why did Braun Strowman show up on SmackDown if he was not going to be going to SmackDown in general? And also, Cesaro came over to Raw, which is Sheamus coming over also? Or is he staying on SmackDown? Is that it for the bar? Like, I don't know what's going on there. But so they made they only made these changes because WWE all of a sudden decided that they want to keep real life couples on the same brand. Like Naomi and the Usos, of course, that happened last week. Zelina Vega and Aleister Black, of course, are married. And of course, a few others, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins recently, and a few other names that are just being kept on the same brand because of where they're at. And some of these people are, of course, married, but some of these people are just dating. So why did Almas get moved back over? Well, not just because of Zelina Vega. Aleister Black would not have been moved over to SmackDown Live if it wasn't for Andrade. Because apparently, recently it's been revealed that, which is very obvious on their Instagram posts, that Andrade Cien Almas is dating Charlotte Flair. You realize the problem I have with this is the fact that this is all, again, all due respect to Charlotte. Again, she's a great wrestler. She's definitely, made the name that she needed to make for this new women's, generation. But one, the obvious, thing of her starting to get too many opportunities is really exposing me even more. And two, this was not a factor before. Heck, there were some couples that WWE was purposely trying to keep on separate brands because they weren't happy they were together. But now all of a sudden, because Charlotte's boyfriend is not on the same brand, now all of a sudden they're making these changes. It took someone favored like Charlotte to have something like this happen. It's like in baseball. Like I'm always talking about how I hate how they have like this one game wild card game now they have. Like to me is no different than just like a tiebreaker game or something like that. And my mom keeps saying for years, it's going to take a team like the Yankees to get screwed before this happens. Before they consider, making a change to this. That's why I'm saying that I feel that the WWE would not have done this if Charlotte wasn't dating Andrade. Because I personally really think Andrade was on a good path moving over to Raw. I actually was one of the moves I actually interested me. Now, though, it kind of looks a little silly. He was on Raw 1 week. Now he's back over on SmackDown. But why? Like, what's he doing? Like, what's he going to do? I mean, yes, he could feud with Finn now since, he got a pinfall victory over Finn. But, of course, storyline-wise, why are you going to say Andrade came back over to SmackDown? Like, it doesn't make sense. And then the thing is also kind of bothers me, too, about this is, again, Samoa Joe's on Raw, which I'm cool with that. I'm completely fine with Joe back on Raw. I know he was sick last week, but why couldn't you announce that last week? Again, when Rusev was hurt in 2017, they still announced he was coming to SmackDown in the Superstar Shakeup. But they couldn't announce Joe going over to Raw. I didn't get that. So, just still boggles my mind how confusing this has been with this whole Superstar Shakeup thing this year with the NXT call-ups, and of course now Nikki Cross still does not have a home because she's still not involved. She's not involved at all with what's going on with Bray Wyatt. We'll talk about Mr. Bray Wyatt when we get to that tonight. Sorry, I had to take this text real quick, but that's my little mini rant I wanted to do. Again, I really feel this would not have happened if it was not for Charlotte. One second here, sorry. Yeah, I really feel but the thing is also is, her and Andrade just started dating as far as I know. If they were married, then maybe I can forgive this a little bit more, but they just started. So, I don't know. It just cracks me up again that if it was anyone else, I don't think they would have gone out of their way to do what they did. But just a mini rant, one throw in there. But let's check the live chat and get to this live review. I did not get to watch, before I check, of course, I didn't get to watch Raw live tonight. I was visiting some friends I go visit once a month. So I didn't get to watch Raw live. So I came home and caught the highlights. But what I'm going to talk about is mainly off of what I saw with the highlights. Let's check the live chat as Elite Squad's in the live chat. Robert Roode is very similar to Rick Rude and Cody Rhodes, which I actually liked Robert Roode. Bray Wyatt returned as a Blues Clues type character. I was thinking Blues Clues. I thought more of maybe Mr. Rogers, maybe, but we'll get to Bray Wyatt in a little bit. Cedric Alexander and Cesaro was a good, solid match, which I thought it was too. Cesaro new heel singles run. Maybe give him a world title opportunity. Maybe, please, finally, please. Although, here's the thing. If he would have stayed on SmackDown, I was still going to think, maybe hoping they would have had him and Kofi have a match at Money in the Bank. But that's not happening now because Cesaro's on SmackDown. On Raw. So I guess Sheamus is staying on SmackDown. All right, but whatever. Reason why Andrade was moved because Fox wants some top Spanish talent on SmackDown. Oh, I didn't hear that reason, but okay, I'm fine with that. The 2 triple threat matches were awesome, for sure. What's up, Mark? I'm so happy Money in the Bank we're having a dream match. Me too. I mean, I'm excited about the match. We're going to have Money in the Bank. We'll talk about, of course, at the end of this review. But, yeah, let's talk about the show, which, for a 3-hour show, there was only maybe like 10 things that really happened on the show. So they gave this stuff, seemed at the time it needed to get, and didn't, overload a show and cram a lot in there. Like, they had segments teasing other things, but it was setting up for stuff that was going to be happening next week, which is what Raw needs to keep doing. Like what NXT does and SmackDown does occasionally, but mostly what NXT does. But Raw needs to keep doing that as well, because it's going to make the show run. Because I thought tonight's show, I thought it was solid. I thought it was a solid show. Was it could have been a little better? Yeah. But to me, I thought it was solid, even though, once again, these whole constant changes to the roster is starting to really itch under my skin. But, it is what it is. So we'll see where it goes here. Let's talk about the show. We opened up with a segment with Triple H coming out, and then Seth Rollins came out. Shake hands, and Rollins talks about how, it is surreal to be home, which of course is he's from Davenport, Iowa. He talks about how he slayed the beast and brought the title home. He says he walked. Triple H said that he agrees that Seth's accomplished a lot, walking in as a King Slayer, and he walked out as a certified Beast Slayer. But now the landscape has changed, and now since Rollins has the standard bearer and the measuring stick as champion, the whole world is gunning for him. Seth knows that, and he knows that Money in the Bank is right around the corner, and if anybody knows about that contract, it's him. He's cashed in the contract, and he's had the contract cashed in on him. And Triple H says that's fine. That's fine. It's going to happen. Triple H tells him not to put the cart before the horse because he needs to worry about who he's defending the title against on the pay-per-view. Rollins thinks that Brock wants a rematch, but he's like, I haven't. Triple H's like, I haven't heard from Heyman or Brock. Which, if Brock wants to stay away, completely cool with me. So Triple H says we're going to have 2 triple threat matches tonight. The winner from each of those triple threat matches will face each other in the main event of tonight's episode, and the winner of the main event will face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. I'm like, fair game. Sounds like how it was for whenever they had the who faced Rollins for the debut Universal title in 2016. I'm like, cool game with me. Out comes Samoa Joe. Says he wants this to be a reminder that he does what he wants when he wants, and your U.S. champion has arrived on Raw. He's got to admit, our girl Becky Lynch has a real interesting concept with this double championship, and as you can see, his shoulders are plenty wide with room for one more. Out comes Rey Mysterio, who says Joe isn't the only former SmackDown superstar looking to make an impact on Raw, and he didn't come here just to hang out and drop knowledge. He has a match in mind. He wants to see Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio Money in the Bank, which Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio would be a pretty good match. I would give that. Then enters the man who I would like to see be the one to dethrone Rollins, probably at SummerSlam at this point, Drew McIntyre. He comes out and says he doesn't give a damn what they'll think they deserve or what the people are excited about. He spent a year cleaning his place up and getting rid of the dead weight with 0 title opportunities. And now it's his time. Triple H said that Seth is the measuring stick. The only reason he's champ is that Drew said that the only reason why that Seth is champ because he got to Brock before Drew could. You know what he's capable of. He's going to win tonight and beat Rollins at Money in the Bank and finally be the Universal Champion, which he will be at some point in the next year. The Miz comes out saying that since he's come back to Raw, more things have changed. More things stay the same. Rollins has something he wants, but he's had something of a reboot thanks to a man who calls himself the best in the world. Which, by the way, I heard about him possibly returning an indie show, but of course, we'll talk about that another time. He's not the same guy that Seth remembers. The last 2 months have shown that he can be a certain man, a man worthy of being Universal Champion, which I agree. And he can't think of a more must-see match at Money in the Bank than Seth Rollins versus The Miz. And now, of course, comes Baron Corbin. Says he's most deserving to challenge Seth because at WrestleMania, he retired Kurt Angle. And has McIntyre ever beaten a gold medalist in his farewell match at WrestleMania, or is Miz or Ray pretty much saying that? And then out comes AJ Styles, saying everybody seems to have forgotten that he's on Raw. But he's going to win tonight and face whoever wins the other triple threat and show them why SmackDown was the house that AJ Styles built. And at Money in the Bank, it'll be him versus Seth for the Universal title. Sounds very juicy there. But Seth says he's ready, and it doesn't matter which one he wrestles at Money in the Bank because he's Seth freaking Rollins, and he's going to burn it down. We had the first triple threat match. It was AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. Pretty solid match, I thought, definitely. Of course, this match also, because we've already seen, Joe and Styles. We saw, Joe squashed Rey at WrestleMania, but definitely maybe interested to see the highlights of this match. Maybe he's interested in wanting to see, Styles and Mysterio. That'd be a good match to have on pay-per-view someday. I want to see. Match is good. The finish I thought was a little strange because, the 619 was hit on Joe. But then Styles hits a Styles Clash on Mysterio, but he hits it on Mysterio, and he smashes on top of Joe, and he pins Joe. I don't know. Realistically, I'm like, okay, yeah, the 619, yes, it is kind of like a finisher, but it's more like, a stun move into a finisher with that splash. So my thing was that they gave Joe some time to recover. And you really think just like, a little man like, Rey Mysterio, like smashed over top of Joe's gonna really knock the wind out. The finish that was a tad bit strange because again he hit the Styles Clash on Mysterio on top of Joe, and then Styles pinned Joe. And it was a little odd. It wasn't awful, but I thought it was a tad bit odd. I thought, but so AJ Styles wins. He's going to be one of two people fighting tonight's main event to be fighting for a Universal title opportunity. We didn't. Apparently, John Cena was a guest host on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And then Naomi comes out, and then the Iconics come out. And Billy Kay says that what Naomi did last week can be summed up in the words, "Thank you, next." And they debate who sings a song of the same name before realizing that it was Ariana Grande. They're running down Naomi as living in the past when the future is, iconic. And then they have a brief match where Naomi pins Billy Kay. Of course, once again, I don't know. Again, I was all right at first with how the Iconics won the titles at WrestleMania, but one, to seeing how unhappy Sasha and Bayley are now, that kind of brings me down a little bit. And two, what are they doing now? They're losing. They've done nothing but lost ever since. And then another thing too, they're slowly breaking up tag teams. No more Boston Hug connection. I mean, yes, we got Asuka and Kairi Sane, but is that it? Like, who's going to challenge them after that? The Samoan Slaughterhouse, no, I wasn't a fan of them. Of course, aren't doing anything right now because Nia Jax is out with double knee injury. So even though I'm not a fan of hers, definitely get well, Nia. I hope you're recovering well. Again, just me once again just saying I think I've already thrown in the towel with the women's tag titles. I gotta say, so to me they're just whatever. So we got that. Then we get the second triple threat qualifying match. Baron Corbin versus Drew McIntyre versus The Miz. Obviously, with McIntyre and Corbin kind of being a little more of an alliance recently. They of course they didn't weren't like the biggest alliance in this match, of course, but obviously they work together quite a bit sometimes. Again, given that Miz, that when the odds are against him, he still fights through, whatnot, getting his babyface man, which okay. Even though I'm kind of concerned about being on Raw because again with the town he's surrounded by, I am a little worried that he's gonna get lost in the shuffle, which is why I somewhat wish maybe they would have kept him on SmackDown, but we'll see where it goes. But obviously, he was the one going to be eating the pin in this match. And it looked like Drew McIntyre was about to win the match when he hit the Claymore kick. But then out of the blue, Corbin pushes him out of the ring, and he pins him and steals McIntyre's victory. So I don't know if they're teasing a face turn for McIntyre. I wouldn't do it yet. Because, again, my thing is I do think, that McIntyre should be the one to dethrone Rollins, which I still think they should wait till SummerSlam to do that. So I think, maybe after that, you maybe turn McIntyre face, because obviously, people are going to be are getting behind them, especially after he wins the Universal title. The story he's had getting back to WWE, becoming the main event star he is, he obviously, deserves to, win that, that spot, and people will get behind him for sure. So not yet, but I do think some point down the line, we could be seeing a Drew McIntyre face turn. So the main event for tonight is going to be AJ Styles and Baron Corbin. AJ's backstage being interviewed. He says it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but rather the fight in the dog. And he likes to think of him as a bulldog that has a lot more fight in him than Baron Corbin, who demands to be introduced by all accolades across his career. Which, again, I still don't get that at all, since he was making fun of Kurt Angle for being a former this, former that, which same time, why is, Corbin introduced himself as former this, former that, doing the same thing? Makes no sense. But all that's true, but he's got a few of his own, from the United States Championship to the WWE Championship, and he's beat up John Cena on a regular basis. It's not about comparing accolades. This is about picking a fight with the biggest bully in the yard and winning. And he hopes Seth is watching so he can hear him be announced as the winner along with everyone else. We have Sami Zayn then come out on the microphone. He cuts off the crowd mid-theme. Says the past few weeks he's done something nobody else has had the courage to do. Tell the truth. Nobody wants to hear about how they're insanely negative. So, of course, we engage in denial and deflection and built this false narrative about Sami becoming bitter. But he can squash that for us right now. He's the opposite side. He's the opposite of bitter. He's jubilant. The 10 months he was away was the happiest time of his life, but he can show us how beautiful life could be outside of these prison walls, he says. Shows a few pictures from, his trip. From his trips he went on while he was gone. He said his dark cloud of anxiety came back to when he knew he was making his return soon. But what makes him sick the most is not the corporate structure that he doesn't always agree with, his egomaniacal, delusional, entitled co-workers, but he kept digging and then saying that the problem is us, the fans. He encourages us to boo and suggests that it feels good because it's easy to blame him than hold ourselves accountable for our roles in all this. He's going to hold every single one of us to account, even though he'd rather be anywhere else on earth than depressed Des Moines, Iowa. And we got a problem with that? He just take a page out of his book and take a trip. He just leave it around, of course, obnoxiously saying, asking if that sounds nice. And he says, I know where you can all go. To hell! Drops the microphone and he walks out. Once again, as I've always said how many times, Sami Zayn, is so good on the microphone. Don't script him. Don't give him this, as Dean Ambrose would call it, hooky shit, pretty much, that they're trying to make too much of a comedy act out of it. And just let him, speak natural, whatnot, even though, Sami Zayn, I'm sure, is not really this, this big jerk in real life who really hates us all. No, I'm pretty sure Sami Zayn loves performing. That's the only thing I gotta say that I have a little bit of a problem. It's don't make it sound like, Sami Zayn doesn't want to be here. It's you don't want to make go too far where it sounds like Sami Zayn saying oh, I hate my job because I have to, entertain these people I can't stand. Well, it's why are you here then if you can't stand the people? You know what I mean? And the thing is also, too, is, they do need to capitalize on this. Yes, Sami Zayn's awesome on the microphone. He's great in the ring, but is he going to get anything out of this? Is he going to get a run with, the U.S. title or even the Universal title? Or if they want to even – a lot of people are starting to suggest maybe Sami Zayn should be the one to win Money in the Bank, which, honestly, I think he should at least be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think that's where he needs to be, at least when it comes to Money in the Bank next month. So, again, yes, he's cutting great promos. Yes, he's oozing charisma. Yes, his wrestling ability is there. He needs to get something out of this, though. Don't just be coming out there being all talk and getting beat every single week like he was on SmackDown when he first turned heel. Yes, he was cutting great promos, but once again, he was eating pins. Sami Zayn should not be eating pins. Give him stuff to do in the ring besides, talking, which, again, he's awesome on a microphone, and give him a serious push. And you've already got a great foundation in general with the character you got right now. Just, keep going with it. But, yeah, so not bad. We had Cedric Alexander taking on Cesaro in Cedric's first match on Raw as, a Raw superstar, not a cruiserweight. And Cesaro's first match on Raw, that was a good hard-hitting match. And to my surprise, Cesaro wins. So obviously you're not going to pull the whole thing with, Cedric has to win every single match. But, it's fine he takes a loss. And they're going to give Cesaro a win as a singles competitor. Maybe they'll, having a mini feud with Cesaro and Cedric Alexander. Maybe or something like that. I don't know. But I thought it was a good match with how it saw as well. Speaking of new rivals, we saw the Usos backstage being interviewed saying they're happy to be here after locking SmackDown down, and they're going to line them up and knock them down from the Lucha House Party. Party's over. To the Viking Raiders, they look like they came here off the set of Braveheart. To the Tag Team Championship, who collect toys. To Revival roll-up. If the Usos did not move to Raw, I would have wanted to see the Revival go to SmackDown and be the ones to dethrone the Usos if the Hardy Boys did not. Out come the Revival. And Dawson says the Usos are the greatest tag team in the history of SmackDown, but Raw is top guy territory, and they're not locking anything down. And then the Usos briefly begin to fall asleep before saying, "Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary." So maybe next week we'll be getting the Usos and the Revival. Awesome. Can't wait to see it. Should be a pretty good match. Then we had, so last week, the War Raiders made their main roster debut as the Viking Experience. Obviously, the fans hated the name. This week, they already have another name. They're the Viking Raiders. Better than Viking Experience, but I still don't. I just still find the reason they took it away so childish. War. You had the War Dogs, Dogs of War last year, whatever you want to call them. You call Ember Moon the War Goddess. Triple H says war several times on Raw. Why can't you call a dominating tag team War Raiders? Now they're the Viking Raiders, which sounds better than Viking Experience, except now that's what their finisher is called, the Viking Experience. And I still don't get why they have to call them Ivar and Eric and not just Hanson and Rowe. But they came out there. They were supposed to have a match at Lucha House Party, but they just tried to squash it before the match even started to make it look dominant. Which, again, in ring, yes, it looked dominant, but again, that name change just, it's not going to help the fans take them seriously. It just makes your company a little even more idiots. But that's happened there. Again, I'm sorry I haven't checked the live chat, guys. Again, it's just late. I'm tired. I'm just trying to, get through these results. I always watch the highlights. Backstage, we see Hawkins and Ryder being interviewed. Let me sneeze here. It's coming. My allergies backing up also. But Hawkins says that we all saw the Viking Raiders go absolute berserk, which, funny thing was, they were supposed to be called the Berserkers at first, so they changed it to the Viking Experience now, the Viking Raiders. Who knows? Maybe we'll hate this name too, and they'll change it to something even more stupid next week. But Ryder says that they felt what they could do last week, but they're new, and the tag champs have been around for years. Kurt says they deserve them now as much as they did back in 2008, and Zach says they're not going to let these horny, woolly mammoths take them over. That was obviously Vince writing that for him. Of course, comes the man herself, Becky Lynch. Like how I said, the man, in like a little bit of an Irish accent or a little bit of an accent, not just the man, the man. But Becky goes out and says there's something in the air tonight in Iowa. Maybe some, love making with you and your new boyfriend. Just kidding. I had to say that. But she thinks that the superstar shakeup, new challengers, shouldn't have to wait. Finding out last week that her first challenge is Lacey Evans, the woman who likes to sucker punch the man. She doesn't want to be sucker punch, though. And she made a career out of slapping bleached blondes who curried favors for management. So Lacey's really just a new version of an old approach. Of course, my favorite line was obviously when Becky said, so while Lacey is in the back trying to further her career, get what I mean? Blonde hair, blue eyes, big D's. I'd say it, but again, I don't have the energy right now. Yep, making that reference, basically. Of course, again, as I always say, I hate when, WWE, obviously knows what we're saying, and they fire back the same stuff at us, but they do nothing about that. But, that was still funny to hear. Becky has a match with Alicia Fox. But first, out comes Miss Evans. Says she can't understand the life of her, why Becky constantly allows her emotions to get to the best of her. Maybe it's because she's Irish or like a typical man. She has to be center of attention. So lesson 1, a lady is always in control of her emotions. Lesson 2, a lady is never show off. And lesson 3, she'll teach the man how to respect a lady with the women's right and take her titles home, which, newsflash, is only for the Raw Women's Championship, not both titles. Becky laughs off and says all the people she's beat to get here, she's just been trying to enjoy the last few weeks, and this absolute plank is getting on her last nerve. You talk about her Irish emotions. Well, they wanted to slap Lacey's head right off her shoulders, and she's new around here. So don't confuse her happiness with contentment because she'll dismantle her at Money in the Bank because she can, and it's time for the man to go back to collecting her debts. Then we have a match with Becky and Alicia. First time we've seen Alicia, of course, since that backstage incident that apparently got Arn Anderson fired. She beats Alicia, tapping her out. Cool with me, because y'all know I can't stand Alicia Fox. But after the match, like immediately after Becky taps out, all of a sudden, you see just Lacey like prancing and just giving her one of the worst sucker punches, worst women's rights I've seen. Again, I don't know what's worse, the first women's right or the sucker punch that Triple H gave Kurt last year in the build to WrestleMania 34, which I thought just made the Authority look stupid. The second women's right I thought looked good. The first one, though, I hated. But again, this is why I'm never a fan of like the sucker punch being like, a finishing move, because it never looks strong. Again, I liked how when Lacey had her match though last week with Natalya, she, did hit the women's right and then hit a moonsault to finish her, which, I'd rather have that be the finish than just the women's right. The women's right could be like a stun move, but I still don't like it as a finisher. So that happens again. So obviously again, we're getting the match for the Raw Women's Championship at Money in the Bank, which, dear WWE, please do not have Becky drop the title to Lacey Evans yet. She's not ready. I know you want to give her a super push, but, at least allow this to get her feet wet and don't put the title on her yet. Got it? Okay. Backstage, we have Baron Corbin, being interviewed about his main event tonight. He scoffs at the idea that he's defying the odds, says he's not looking past AJ Styles. He's looking straight through him. Backstage, we get a little interview earlier from Mr. Bobby Roode is no longer Bobby Roode. He's a single star again, and he turned heel recently. He is now, with just a mustache, no beard, just a mustache, he is now Robert Roode. And he is absolutely glorious. But anyways, he says that he recently shed 150 pounds of dead weight, and he sees Ricochet as being a lot like Chad Gable, and he's going to expose what he's missing, basically, because he's absolutely glorious, which, again, when Bobby Roode has more like that heel fire in him kind of promos, again, they just sound so much better. Although, as I keep saying, I'm not sure if this heel turn is really going to completely save him that much, because, again, of how badly he said rock bottom ever since he came over to Raw last year. And also the fact that, once again, Chad Gable's dead weight, whatnot. Like every tag team that drops Chad Gable, it's, oh yeah, he was dead weight. Shelton Benjamin said that. Now Robert Roode is saying that. Well, Jason Jordan didn't say that, but it's like the same thing. So what? Chad's go back to SmackDown. What? You're gonna have? I wouldn't mind him reuniting him with Shelton Benjamin, but are you gonna give him a singles push now? Like I don't know what's going on with Chad Gable, but Bobby Roode had a match with Ricochet. Robert Roode had a match with Ricochet. I honestly thought it was pretty good. It was definitely making me think of, the NXT's edition of Bobby Roode. Well, now as Robert Roode. He didn't have to, pull anything too dirty. All he mostly did, eventually get the pin Ricochet. Obviously, showing that, he couldn't handle with Ricochet at times because of Ricochet's, sick moves. But he eventually got through Ricochet's shoulder to the second turnbuckle and hit the glorious DDT to get the victory. Okay, so Bobby Roode gets a win. So, okay, I'll give this a chance. Hoping maybe this will, save Bobby Roode's career on the main roster. But at the same time, my still question is it too late to do so? But this match with Ricochet I thought was a pretty good start. All right, let's discuss another elephant in the room. So we have the return of Bray Wyatt. First time we've seen him since the last match that him and Matt Hardy had against the Revival and the B Team last summer. We were introduced to not Finn Balor's, Bray Wyatt's new gimmick. His new gimmick is the Firefly Funhouse. And when I was coming home tonight, my friend texted me a photo of Bray Wyatt, and I said, "Who is he, Mr. Rogers?" Bray Wyatt comes in, all these children's sound effects in the background, basically. He welcomes us to the show, telling us how much fun we're going to have in his special place, and he shows us what he's learned since we've last seen him. He puts on gloves labeled hurt and heal. Introduced us to Mercy the Buzzard, which, was the freaky little puppet we saw coming out of the box, and a doll also, which we saw recently also, which I thought was going to be something for Nikki Cross, but I guess not now. He says he used to be a very bad man, which is true, but he does keep a reminder to make sure he never turns into that pathetic slob loser ever again. Kind of true to see how your character went south. And then there's a cardboard cutout of, what he used to be. Then he takes a chainsaw and cuts it off and says, "I'll see you next week." I still have mixed feelings about it. I mean, it's different, but it still looks too childish to me. Like, I've only seen it 1 week. It's different, but Bray Wyatt with this kid-friendly environment looking thing, it just still just seems a little too childish. I keep saying, this isn't a kid's show. This is meant to be, for teenagers and older, not freaking 5-year-old kids. Like, again, like, some people keep saying that, Bray Wyatt basically playing Blue's Clues now. Like, what? We're going to have, a paw print on all the things. Like, I haven't watched Blue's Clues in years, of course, but I don't know. I'm still mixed about it. Like, it's different. Some people like it. But to me, I'm just like, this could get a little too childish. So, we'll see where it goes. I don't know if it'll help Bray or not, but we'll see. I found it to be a little corny, but I'll give it a chance. Again, I thought he was basically Mr. Rogers, but apparently people think he's more so like Blue's Clues. But we'll see where this goes, of course. But anyways, next week we had it's going to be announced that next week we're going to have a special Money in the Bank edition of Amona Bliss, in which Alexa Bliss will announce all the entrants in both ladder matches. The qualifying match? All right, whatever. I prefer qualifying matches, but whatever. I'm pretty sure Alexa Bliss is going to be inserting herself, though, into that Money in the Bank ladder match, but don't win it. We have our main event, AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin. The match was what it was. Eventually, of course, Styles wins the Phenomenal Forearm, and he will face Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank. Rollins comes out. Him and Styles have a stare down. They shake hands, then get close to each other's face, exchange a few words, and then go off the air. So, again, I'm sorry I kind of rushed through that all, but again, I'm tired. I always saw the highlights and whatnot. As far as the Seth Rollins and AJ Styles match, as I said months ago, and I'm still saying it, definitely my number one dream match right now. And I'm fine having Money in the Bank. I'll be real and say I kind of wish they would have left it for, maybe like, a SummerSlam, which, I want to see it be Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, WrestleMania. I feel like this match is like that big. And they have the history too. Again, remember in that 24 special on Seth Rollins when he first came back from his knee injury, they had like that thing with, how Seth wrestled AJ at 19, and then like AJ really put over Seth after the match because of how good he was. My allergy acted up, sorry. So obviously I feel like that might play to affect some story in some ways, but based off of the promos that Styles was cutting, it wouldn't surprise me, and I would be okay with this if sometime over the next year they turn AJ Styles heel. Like, I mean, I'm fine if they keep him as a babyface, fine. Like, AJ Styles is kind of at the point where he's like Shawn Michaels. Like, Shawn Michaels, when he came back from his back injury in 4 years, he only won maybe one championship or whatnot. He didn't need to be in championship matches all the time to put on 5-star classics. And I feel that, yes, Styles will be getting title opportunities. Don't get me wrong. I feel like he's at a point where he doesn't have to be in a title opportunity all the time. But because of all the talent that I'd like to see him face on Raw, I do think sometime over the year, it wouldn't surprise me if they turned him heel, which I'd be okay with. AJ had a great run, of course, as a heel in 2016 till WrestleMania 33, which again, that was more so kind of just help with his promo skills, just to kind of light that fire in him. Because as a babyface when he first came in, he was fine, but obviously the promo skills weren't there yet. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did go that route. But I'm still excited for this match, Money in the Bank. Heck yes, again, it's my #1 dream match. They're not wasting on Raw. They're doing it at a pay-per-view, which again, Money in the Bank is one of the bigger shows of the year. I'm sure it'd be a great main event. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, guys. And that is Raw. I didn't do a poll tonight, but we'll check the live chat. But I will first say that I do give Raw a B-. Not a solid show. Enjoyed some things. Some things I'm like, meh. But we'll see, of course, where some of this stuff goes. Especially, again, Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse. We'll see about that one. Let me see here. What was up with that Bray segment? I had no words for it. I'm like, still weird, yeah. Mark thinks the War Raiders' new name is still stupid. For sure. Better than Viking Experience, but I'm still not a fan of it either. I'm not the only one that thought Robert Roode held like Rick Rude. He did for sure, definitely. Can't believe that Cedric had to lose on his Raw debut. Me too, but again, I'm okay with it, again, for Cesaro's sake also. And Cedric does not need to be built around a winning streak also. But he did look good in the match, I thought. He's surprised Shane didn't interfere in the second triple threat. Me too. Did you hear the rumors that Roman might get fired, which is a stupid rumor? Yeah, storyline wise, probably it's going to be the case. I don't get why they changed their team name, but not their singles names. Yeah, I mean, either I don't get why that changed them either. I can't wait to see what Liv Morgan's entrance does when she goes back to her NXT entrance or what. We'll see, unless again she ends up being the Dana Brooke of SmackDown Live, but we'll see, of course, where that goes. Mark gave it a B-. What's up, Tyler? Saying Bray is dead. Again, we'll see. Seth's the only member of the Shield AJ hasn't faced one-on-one until now. That is true. But again, hopefully it'll be a pretty good match. AJ and Dean had some good matches. Even AJ and Roman, I thought, had some really good matches. Extreme Rules 2016, very good Extreme Rules match. Honestly, if Roman would have stayed on Raw or if AJ would stay on SmackDown and Roman would SmackDown, I wouldn't mind seeing them feud again. Heck, even if they wanted to make Roman Reigns and AJ Styles a main event at WrestleMania, go for it. I'd be for it again. I thought they had some great matches, but yeah, definitely can't wait to see Seth Rollins and AJ Styles at Money in the Bank. But yeah, guys, this is going to be it for Raw again. So it's kind of like a rush review again because I was visiting friends tonight. But I will be up here tomorrow live for my SmackDown review. But I got to get some rest because I had a meeting tomorrow that I thought was not till Wednesday, but it's actually tomorrow. So I got to get some sleep and get ready for that in the morning. And, of course, I'll be back here live for SmackDown review. My SmackDown review. Of course, I will try to get my Money in the Bank card predictions out sometime this week as well. And, so guys, stay tuned as usual for stuff to come. I hope you also had a great Easter this weekend as well. So please, guys, slap like on the video, subscribe or comment on my channel, follow me on Twitter @TheManRunning3. Please also check out my WrestleMania Experience documentary found in the description box down below. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. Have a great night. I'll see you guys all tomorrow for my SmackDown Live review. Peace out, everybody.